fun. It'll be good.
We're live.
Yeah. All right, everyone. So I'm going to be the host for today's meeting. My name is Dwight. We have a packed agenda today. So let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our 28th recurring Platform and Treasury Council meeting. Today, we will cover governance initiatives, platform developments, and upcoming proposals. Someone can post the agenda for me in the chat if you are available. Thanks. These bi-weekly meetings provide transparency into council operations, offer proposers a forum to present directly to council members and community, and maintain consistent communication across our global ecosystem. What we are building: the Internet of Money. 7 billion people connected by mobile phones, yet unable to truly own and move money the way they own and move data. The Telcoin Association is changing that, establishing Telcoin Network and TEL as the blockchain and token standard for global telecommunications. Telecoms run the Internet. With Telcoin Network, they also process blocks, securing the settlement layer for digital finance accessible to every mobile subscriber worldwide. The platform architecture: 3 integrated layers working as one system. Telcoin Network, EVM-compatible Layer 1 blockchain validated exclusively by GSMA mobile network operators, introducing an entirely new revenue stream for telecoms. TELX, liquidity layer enabling user-owned self-custodial asset exchanges. TAN, mobile applications connecting users to blockchain, financial services, and each others. 4 minor groups, shared governance. The platform operates through equal stakeholders, validators, GSMA, MNOs, securing the blockchain and earning transaction fees. Liquidity miners, providing liquidity to enable decentralized exchanges. Developers, building compliant mobile applications. Stakers, users driving adoption and connecting payment networks. Each miner earns fees until TEL issuance, aligning telecoms, developers, liquidity providers, and users across the value chain. GSMA validation rights scale to billions through existing infrastructure. Distributed ownership turns participants into defenders, viral at launch, defensible at scale. TEL, the native token. TEL powers the network as a gas token, staking asset, and governance mechanism. Miners stake TEL to participate, earn fees from transactions, and harvest from issuance flows. Stake TEL determines both earning power and governance influence. Democratic governance. The Telcoin Association operates as a Swiss Verein with 5 elected councils. Platform and Treasury Council hold global authority over platform-wide systems and token economics. We work alongside TAN Council, TELX Council, and Compliance Council. Our dual mandate: we oversee sustainable platform provisioning, planning infrastructure and collective goods, and responsible TEL allocation, regulating token distribution for miners to harvest based on productive contributions. Why this matters: every decision shapes whether we achieve our vision, uniting GSMA mobile operators and billions of users around shared blockchain infrastructure, where money moves like data, accessible to every mobile phone globally. Our commitments: as your elected representatives, we commit to thoughtful proposal review, consistent communication, transparent platform updates, and faithful execution of the governance framework you've entrusted to us. Now, let's proceed with today's agenda. Second point on the agenda is a short recap of our last meeting. In our last meeting, we discussed the Telcoin Association Platform and Treasury Council meeting provided updates on network development, security, and governance. Technical progress included recent DevNet development, production hardening, and a new gas limit safeguard to mitigate potential DOS risks. 14 security issues were closed in the past 3 weeks as the team moves toward mainnet readiness. The council also anonymously agreed to consolidate Telcoin's web presence under Telcoin.network with ecosystem subdomains. The association confirmed its win in Coinmetro's golden ticket competition, securing a free exchange listing with fiat on and off ramps expected in 3 to 4 weeks. Additional updates covered by bi-weekly council meeting through January 2026, ongoing work on a developer pitch deck, and strong confidence in mobile network operator participation. The team reiterated its focus on launching securely, with remaining security work expected to be completed in weeks, not months. So let's come to our third point on the agenda, our Telcoin network updates. Grant, are you there?
I'm not going to actually take, Marcus and I are taking that today, Dwight.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Great.
Grant may be traveling, so he'll be available for questions if we need him. So we've been progressing on the hardening, production ready hardening front. There was some stuff. Our DevNet is going to be restarted soon. There's been a lot of changes in the database. We fixed issues with some, I don't know if I'd call them memory leaks, kind of how the data changed. We had some issues we needed to fix, so we sort of knew the existing DevNet was going to need a restart. So that's coming up. Been fixing some other improvements around the database just to improve general performance and that sort of thing. Also, Grant has a PR that kind of on standby to fix the last high issue from the contest, but we ran into some problems with we have a series of restart integration tests, and they brought up some issues around epic switching and restarting. So I've worked through a bunch of those, and those PRs are basically stacked up and ready to go. And then, yeah, I mentioned the restart of the DevNet. So essentially on that side, we're just progressing forward. The next 28 to 48 hours, a whole lot of there's, I think, 32 or 33 issues on the GitHub right now, and a bunch of those will be closing down between the stuff I talked about and what Marcus is about to talk about. We're only going to have a tiny handful of contest issues left. So there'll be, we've been adding our own issues as we find things as well. And then, we should be ready for moving into the next round of audits. And I'm not the timeline guy, and I don't think we have a timeline for that, just to forestall those questions. But very soon the code should be ready to go into the next round of audits. And Marcus is going to talk some about the work he's been doing on the smart contract side and clearing out a bunch of issues there.
Yeah, thank you so much, Steve. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Marcus. I'm a smart contract engineer, and so a little bit of background. We did the public audit competition, security audit through Cantina Spearbit, and we've had what's called a recoverable wrapper implementation, which is the Circle research. So that same Circle who is behind USDC, Circle had a recoverable wrapper contract in the open source with a permissive license, and we were using it in the Telcoin Network code base. And so since I've been responsible for the system smart contracts, a lot of them show up as precompiles in Genesis in the layer 1. We were using the recoverable wrapper, Circle's recoverable wrapper, to sort of bolster the interchain TEL implementation. So sort of the smart contract that bridged the native gas currency capabilities for TEL on Telcoin Network to the interchain. So Ethereum, Polygon, Base, Arbitrum, any sort of Axelar enabled chain, TEL was connected to and bolstered by the use of this recoverable wrapper. It was audited in the past. So Circle Research had published not only the implementation in open source, but also their audit findings. And so when we use the recoverable wrapper to extend the interchain TEL implementation, basically we used it to enable like a 7-day recovery period. And what that meant was initially, this was the spec initially, was that TEL, when used in the interchain context, so in the outbound direction from Telcoin Network, i.e. for users bridging from Telcoin Network to Ethereum or bridging to Polygon, Arbitrum, you name it, but bridging off of Telcoin Network sort of was routed through this recoverable wrapper parent contract, and that enforced a 7-day wait time before bridging off of Telcoin Network to other chains. Now, where I'm going with this is when we did that audit with Cantina Spiribit several months ago, we included the recoverable wrapper in the scope of the audit, and that was just because, you know, the Circle's code had only been audited once. There was a high finding in their audit, and so we decided, just, you know, for sanity's sake, and since we knew there were going to be so many eyes on the Telcoin Network and TN contracts repo, the system contracts that I manage and mentioned earlier, we included the recoverable wrapper in the scope. Funny enough, even despite the previous audit that Circle had conducted, the Cantina Spiribit researchers came up with 9 findings on the recoverable wrapper. So the code itself, I mean, it's battle-tested code, and mind you, all of these 9 findings that the Cantina Spiribit researchers came up with were ranging from informational to, I believe there was 1 medium within those 9. So nothing major, but still a bit surprising. And so that sort of behooved a second look at the spec on whether or not we really needed the recoverable wrapper as part of the interchain TEL. You know, that sort of 7-day wait period is sort of a UX point of headache. You know, bridging off of a chain, optimistic layer 2s on Ethereum, you know, Arbitrum and Optimism and Base, they do also have this 7-day wait period. It's sort of a fraud-proof window. So we weren't, you know, doing anything that was non-standard for a new blockchain. But wouldn't it be nice if we could get rid of that 7-day headache for users trying to bridge off of Telcoin Network when using TEL? And so we looked at the spec, we saw the 9 sort of informational through medium findings, and we decided that the recoverable wrapper was not necessary. So this is a pretty huge update to the network functionality. I can sort of definitively and happily say that there will no longer be a 7-day enforced wait period when bridging off of Telcoin Network to other chains. We have implemented the fixes to those 9 findings for the recoverable wrapper, Circle's recoverable wrapper implementation, simply by stripping out the recoverable wrapper and replacing it with standard ERC20 functionality. So from the user perspective, this is a big win. 7 days wait period, no more. You can bridge instantaneously using XLR off of Telcoin Network in the current implementation. This is a PR that I just opened today. It's a relatively large one, so it will, you know, require re-audit, but we have new follow-up audits scheduled and in the works. So yeah, it's funny sometimes that you know, resolving these sorts of security findings can be better tailored and better, you know, user experienced simply by sort of altering the spec and taking out that recoverable wrapper. And another benefit of this, besides removing the 7-day bridging window, is the recoverable wrapper sort of, it was a bit controversial when it was launched because, you know, standard ERC20s don't provide a permission to address the ability to sort of unilaterally recover tokens. Let's say I'm a, you know, random user on Telcoin Network. If I were not using native TEL, not using wrapped TEL, but using specifically interchain TEL, which is the sort of double wrapped representation of TEL, which was bridgeable off of the chain. If I made a transfer to, let's say, Steve, the recoverable wrapper contract sort of unilaterally gave permission for a governance address, which was the Tau safe, to reverse that transaction. And that's nice from a compliance perspective. That's nice from a, you know, control the token, sort of maybe the equity lens. If you look at cryptocurrencies as equities, that might be nice. But it sort of wasn't in line with the ethos of Telcoin Network. And so not only is it eliminating the 7-day sort of user experience headache, but it's also sort of more aligned closely with the ethos of decentralized cryptocurrencies. So this PR will be reviewed and merged in coming days. So that knocks 9 findings out of the remaining list that we have. And really, like Steve said, brings it down to just a handful. So we're very excited for that and for all the great work that Steve has been doing, as well as this contract PR in giving us leaps and bounds towards mainnet launch.
All right. Thank you so much, Steve. Thank you so much, Marcus. Really interesting stuff. Let me check if we have any questions for Marcus right now. Doesn't seems like. Okay. All right. Next up, our fourth point on the agenda, we have Nick with the TIP for Unified Web Presence for the Telcoin ecosystem.
Thanks, Dwight. Actually, I think we did have a question. I've just looked at it. From Dali. Out of curiosity, are other projects that are utilizing this wrapper notified of these findings so then they can decide if they want to keep using them?
That is a great question, and funny enough, not one that had occurred to me, even though it's, now that I hear it, obviously extremely important. So to my knowledge, the Circle recoverable wrapper is not being used in production by any other project, but I say that really, really, really lightly and tentatively because there very well could be. So something that I could do is probably open a PR to the recoverable wrapper repo, or maybe just open an issue and say, hey, we did an audit of your code. We were going to use it, now we're not, but there were these findings. Again, they were largely, informational with that one medium relating to a denial of service. There may have been, something like that, one or two. So that would be a great way for me to notify at least Circle, so they're aware of that denial of service. But so if any of you find a project that is using the recoverable wrapper in the wild, definitely let us know, because we'd want to reach out to them and just make sure they're aware of limitations of that contract. But wow, great question.
From Dali. Nice one, Dali. That's it for the questions. Okay, yeah. So on the unified web presence, this is quite difficult to update on a regular basis because we're still in the phase of really planning it out, and because it's such a huge task, there's a lot of discussions that need to happen. But we have had, I don't know if I mentioned it last meeting or not, we have had one meeting with an outside web developer house who are a pretty large organization who work heavily in the telecoms industry, helping telecoms with not just websites but apps and whatever they need development wise. They've also worked with some big brands, the likes of Samsung and Nike, but at the same time, not to be put off to think they're going to be expensive, because they understand the goal and they have promised us an initial proposal for what they class as a phase one before Christmas, which is good because it's going to give us something to read and like a starting point. We will be reaching out to other companies as well, so we have a sort of maybe 3 or 4 different views and different ideas and proposals, and they're well aware of kind of controlling the costs. So one thing is a lot of the content that we've got across multiple domains, we've already got it. We can tidy it up and reuse it. It doesn't need to be rewritten. So will be a huge cost saving on that front of it. They also are going to provide other case studies of projects that they believe is kind of similar, like they've had to take other telecoms projects and consolidate because they've got such a wide range of services and a wide range of information that gets fragmented as it does as you build out and get bigger and bigger. They're going to provide us with some case studies, including costings on what a particular project, what they did for it, and how much the whole thing costs. So we will be able to gauge, rough ideas of costings for us. And as we kind of get further in and more locked in, and the council among all of ourselves kind of discuss and understand exactly what we're trying to achieve with what sort of features we want on the site and how we want the umbrella to look, and through the lens of a developer coming to the ecosystem, through the lens of a MNO, through the lens of a potential partner of some kind, We want to ensure that, or a general user that wants to understand what is the Telcoin network, or how is it run, how it's governance. We want to make sure that anybody who comes into the ecosystem can immediately kind of feel not overwhelmed and at home in kind of the direction they want to start reading about or go deeper onto a deeper level. So yeah, it's going to be, I mean, we'll probably be bringing this up at every meeting, only to try to provide an ongoing ongoing kind of news on where we are with it, and hopefully, because we do have some time, the goal is to either roll this out, if everyone's in agreement, before mainnet launch, or by the latest at the same time as mainnet. That's really important. We don't want to be doing it after. So we're just trying to get all the foundations set now in order to get that all ready. So yeah, nothing overly exciting, still at the very early planning stage, but more will come soon.
Great, thank you, Nick. I think you have the next point on the agenda as well. I think a short update regarding the Coinmetro listing.
Yeah, so that is, obviously we've got the holidays coming up, so it's a bit of an awkward time of year. If we didn't have the holidays up, it was sort of 3 to 4 weeks from the end of the competition. Where it's at now, the way that Coinmetro work is they have to, through their legal side, they have to run every potential listing through another company that they work with, who does some initial due diligence just to say they're okay to list, and then Coinmetro that will then do some more due diligence, with the Telcoin Association regarding TEL, etc. And ironically, it's like it's a bit odd. It's like I think it's a UK company, and it's got something to do with the FCA. They were saying that the point they said was, let me just have a read. It says, TEL update. We apologize for the delay. With the FCA ramping up requirements, we need the regulatory green light before we can proceed. We are working on it. So Kevin, who's the CEO, he gave me a voice note and just said that, yeah, it's just something they have to do. They have to run all the potential listings through this company they work with, first of all. And as soon as they get an update, they will proceed onwards to the next stage. So, and with Christmas coming up, I mean, let's hope for January, we don't know, but as soon as I get updates, I provide them with the community anyway. So we're on the case, and yeah, once we get there, it should be good. They want to do a TEL Spaces, a Spaces about the listing, and a few other bits and pieces. So once we get over these legal hurdles, we should be in the clear then, and then it will be more exciting. But yeah, another update probably on the next platform meeting in January.
Great, thank you, Nick. Sounds good. Next point on the agenda, we have Derek with the Telcoin Network Developer one-pager. Do you want to say something about that, or?
Yeah, it's coming along. I just released version 2 to the internal council for you guys to review. I had to retool a bunch of things to make sure that it followed the same visuals, and use some of the Figma files from Telex that Khalil helped me with. So basically, the one-pager version is done. It's more about just honing in the scope specifically for developers. So that is out on the website. The goal was to make it, make it have the same look and feel. Or not on the website, I apologize. On our internal documents, the goal is to make it have the same look and feel as what we're doing on the website. So we're going to review that this round. I'm sure I'm going to pick Grant and Marcus and Steven's, all their brains about this stuff, because there are some very specific things that I want to make sure is correct, and how we're marketing this to potential developers. And then potentially, an M&O angle as well, right? So there's a few different angles here that we have to make sure the value proposition makes sense. So the goal will be essentially a one-pager and then a deck that can be sent out, kind of open sourced for any developers that are interested in building on the network. So progressing, it's just I had to get the the base structure, right, of design rather than reinventing the wheel. So please go review that, council members, and give any feedback. We'll go from there. Hopefully on the next platforming council, we'll be able to release something, hopefully is my goal.
Great. Thank you, Derek. All right. So I think that's it with the official agenda points. I hope all of you saw Paul's interview with David. Oh, how do you pronounce that name? David Gockstein. Is that correct? I don't know. It's a very long, exciting interview. If you didn't check it out, definitely check it out. And we are opening the floor for our Q&A. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and we will try to answer all of them. Parker, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Just wanted to give a little bit of an update. So I am working here with Grant actually on a TEL IP for year 2 for issuance next year. And obviously it's really critical because we're bringing in all these MNOs that we're bootstrapping onto the network and want to get it right and make sure that we have ample resources both to drive adoption of the network by the GSMA and to plan and finance infrastructure and other goods for the community. So very exciting times and really trying to be super thoughtful here as this is the comeuppance go to market global commercialization time. And that means it's go time. So yeah, I just wanted to give a little update there. Expect that for sure before the end of the year and appreciate your patience as we work to get things right.
Thank you, Parker. All right. Do we have any questions?
I'm just checking on the other stream chat.
I don't see any in the stream chat right now, but please, if you're listening, please feel free to ask anything that is council related. Happy to cover it.
Okay. In the meantime, I can already share our upcoming meeting schedule. So the next meeting will be already in 2026 on January 8th, then on January 2020, then on the 5th of February. Calendar invites, like always, will be sent to the council members. And remember, these meetings are crucial for maintaining transparency and communication with our community. And did we get another question? Or shall we close the meeting?
I don't see any more.
All right. Thank you, Derek. So thank you, everyone, for participating in our 28th recurring council meeting and the last one for this year. Thank you, everyone, for your hard work. I wish you all happy holidays for the whole team, for the whole community. Let's have a great 2026. See you next year. And until then.